all these labels, and it's like things that people go through make them who they are, right? They make you stronger. They make you vulnerable. Exactly. So it's like, so what? You're in a wheelchair. You're in a wheelchair. It's you have a second chance at life. You're still here. Your story is still being written. And I think that that's dope, because seeing what you're doing and other people can see you and say, you know what? I get it, right? Get out of your own way. Don't let circumstances make you the victim anymore, you know? Like
I feel like if I can do it in a wheelchair, there's no excuse for anybody else to not get it. You know, there's no excuse for it, you know? And I also feel like,
I agree.
You know, the chair doesn't define who you are. You define who you are, you know?
I agree. So your music, the music that you make, do you feel like it's changed over the years, or do you just think you've gotten better lyrically out right now? I know you've been busy all day. You got to be tired, because I know I work. I chase after my kids. I got a bunch of stuff going on here, there, everywhere, and like I'm always doing something. But you just like shot a video and some other stuff earlier today. You can stay in victim mode, or you can get out of that. But it's a mindset.
I feel like nobody really knows what everybody says they couldn't be in that situation and they can't handle it, but you never know what you could do till you have to do it, you know? You either have a choice. You either die or you can live. You do what you got to do, or you cannot. You always have a choice, so, you know, nobody ever knows till you put in that situation.
So you have a project out right now. Some of the interviews that you've done, you've talked about being independent and what that truly means and having a team. And the one thing that I seen in your theme, like the common theme, is like you represent your team, but like you shout them out. And I thought that was super dope, because there's so many people behind the scenes that contribute to a movement, right? Like it's not just you. Yeah. You know, whoever, like each team is different. You know, some people have engineers, you know, producers, you know, they have a management, they have, you know, a PR person. It just depends on what they have. But I seen the interviews and you're constantly shouting out your team, and I just thought that was super dope, because it's really the no person left behind mentality, right? Like you're you and you represent a group of people, but there is a group of people behind you. So yeah. As long as you've been doing music, have you? I was literally listening to Cook, you know, when I started the interview, and like I was watching your visuals and your other you know, interviews too, because it's like the one thing that like I respect is just understanding that like each platform brings a different like viewer base, right? Like I'm in the Midwest, I'm in St. Louis, you know, that's totally different than somebody who's in LA or somebody who's in New York or, you know, Florida or Atlanta even. And the thing that I really love is like when we were just like talking back and forth, like it was all business. It was no bullshit. It was no extra. Yeah. You know, it was just like, hey, can we do the interview? Cool. What day works for you? Like it was just straight business. And it's so refreshing to see that. Like you sent me the links, like the things that I asked for just so I could do my research. And it was like, okay, this man's about his business. And some people just don't get that aspect of it, you know, like when you speak to somebody, like you don't know who they know, you know, or when you reach out on social media, you don't know who they know. So if you give me, you know, a messed up impression and I go tell everybody I know, and then you reach out to somebody that you don't even, and they're like, oh yeah, had a conversation with TC, she said blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know, I really just appreciated that aspect of our interaction, which is what made me want to do the interview, because I thought it was just dope to see where I love people who love the grind, right? Like the grind, the hustle, the love for music, the love for the culture, you know, being different. I'm just going to say different. You know what I mean? Has always came with, you know, questions and issues and comments, and you know, and I'm just like, the love for the music, the love for the culture is ultimately the goal, right? To further the
plan. I do a 6 month and then a year.
When I talk to artists, I'm like, okay, so like, do you have a quarter plan? Like, do you have a half year plan? Do you have a year plan? And they'd be like, what? And I'm like,
No, when
So we
you're
just out here
independent, you
winging
gotta
it. We
do
just out
that.
here throwing darts, hoping something sticks. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's crazy because, and I've said this probably 7 million. We had street teams and people were in the streets and passing out flyers and supporting DJs. We didn't have, MySpace was the thing. We didn't have all this social media where, you know, people's attention spans are smaller. So if you're not putting out music constantly, you got to be putting out visuals. You got to be putting out some type of content to stay relevant, you know? So have you found like that is a challenge, or do you like being in, as a performer, some people like being in front of the camera, and then some people are just like, it's a job. I do my job and I go home. Like, what do you like? Do you like being in front of the camera? Like, do you like putting your life out there, like to everybody, or is it just your love
Yes.
for music?
Yeah, because I feel like that's just what I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm a writer,